So what inspires you? What makes you want to quilt? So this month, during our Sewing Organization Challenge, we are going to focus on inspiration. To be honest, it wasn't what I had planned for this month, but I was sitting out on my porch the other night and I was looking around at all the beautiful flowers and I found them so inspiring. And I think that, for me at least, springtime is one of the most inspiring times as a quilter. I get to really look at flowers and colors and nature, and things are coming to life, and to me it just makes me happy. And as a maker, one of the things I like to do is to turn to nature for inspiration. For example, I bought this gorgeous hanging basket, and just pulling the colors from it and finding fabric that went with it, to me, it's a great palette starter. And if you're not quite sure what colors to use, sometimes this is the way to go, is to pull from nature, just like this. So consider that too as you're being inspired by things. So as I said, May is about inspiration. And what does that exactly mean? So what we're going to cover this month are books, our patterns, our digital inspiration, things like that, even our magazines, all of that we would use for inspiration on getting started on a quilt. And this week we're going to talk specifically about quilt books. Now, if you're like me, you have quite a few, and there's some you just are never ever going to even use again. So it might be time that we clean them out and donate them. Even sending them to a friend or taking them to a thrift shop or even selling them online is a good option. But either way, they do take up a lot of space, and some are outdated or just aren't our taste anymore, so it's time to get rid of them. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not buying books. For example, I just purchased this book recently. I love it. And I also purchased this book that I made the table runner out of. So it's not like I don't purchase books, but I am very careful about the books I purchase. So I did make this short video of me going through my books and decide what I'm keeping and what I'm not. Just some information, before I moved, I did go through my books once, but it is time for me to go through them again, just because I know there's things that I brought that I'm never going to use. So let's take a look at that clip. I've gathered all of my books together, and I have a decent amount, so I'm going to sort them now. And I'm going through looking for ones that I know I'll never use. So, for example, this particular one is a really great book with a lot of cool baby quilts in it. I'm not sure I'll go to this one because I have another baby book that I go to. But you know what? Maybe I'll put it aside and think about that one. Now, this is a really great book that I go to all the time. I'm going to definitely keep this one. This book is one of my absolute favorites. It's a great book if you ever want to learn how to machine quilt. I used it last summer and I love it, and she even dedicated it inside and signed it. So if you go to her Etsy shop, you can get one signed. I think you can still do that at least. Let's see. So I have a few books on free motion quilting. I'm definitely keeping them. This book is the very first quilt I ever made is in here. It's this one, which was a huge endeavor for a first quilt. So it's almost like sentimental, this book. I think I'm keeping it. This one's a cool one. These are crochet books. This particular book I bought at a quilt show and didn't realize I needed a specialty ruler for. So I think I'm going to get rid of this one. And this one, I've always wanted to do a stack and whack, and I bought this at a yard sale, but this is like the second book that goes with the first book, so I'm not sure about this one. So I've separated them into 3 piles: books that I'm absolutely keeping, books that I'm thinking about keeping, and books that I'm absolutely getting rid of. So like I said in the video, you know, this book is one of those that I have used and used and used. It is my go-to book when I have to make a baby shower gift or anything like that. So this is a book I absolutely will keep. But other ones like this one, I'm never gonna make a hanky quilt. You know, they're cool and everything, but I'm never going to make one. So I'm going to either sell it or pass it on or something to get it out of my space and make room for maybe some new books. I can't really talk about books without talking about digital books, like books that we would have on our Kindle and other devices that we would use to look at digital books. Plenty of people I know that love digital books and use their Kindle even for quilting books. For me, I like to have the paper book, but that's just a matter of opinion. And you know what? I'm kind of jealous of those who love the digital books because they don't take up the space that my books on my shelf take up. So let's talk about your task for this week. The first thing is to gather up all those books and to sort them. Make 3 piles like we've done before with fabric. One where you're going to donate, sell, or give away. One where you're going to keep. And one where you maybe aren't so sure. So with those ones that you're just not sure of, maybe just put them away for a few weeks and see if you go back to them. And if you don't, then maybe it's time to get rid of them. I know it's really hard to get rid of books, especially books that have served you well over the years, but sometimes it is time to just declutter and to make space. And with all of these, you know, these challenges and these tasks, it's totally up to you whether you choose to do them. Please don't feel you have to, of course, right? It's totally up to you. And if books are one of those things that you just can't part with, don't part with them. I'm not going to force anybody's hand. It's just something to consider for those that would like to clean up their books. Next, for the ones that you are getting rid of, if you choose to do so, get them out of your house. So that might mean if you're going to donate them, get them to your car, or even better yet, run them to the donation center so they're gone. Because I can tell you from experience that I'll have a pile of things for donation sitting in my hallway, and I'll start pulling from it and bringing it back in. Those things seem to creep in, especially for somebody like me who sometimes has a hard time parting with things like that. So let's talk about that keep pile, okay, of all those books. How do you organize them? What do you do with them at this point? So for me, what works is organizing them by height, and that's total preference. I tend to have a memory where I know which books, what size a book is for whatever reason. I know it's a weird superpower to have, but it's what I have. So if I know I'm looking for one of my books about fabric, I know it's a shorter book and bound in a different way, so I'll be able to pull it because I recognize the spine. But you may choose to organize them a little differently. You may choose to do them by alphabetical order, by author, might be by genre, by color. Whatever it is, find the way that you organize best or you work best and organize it that way. Get them into one place so they're easily accessible when you need to grab some inspiration or something maybe that is your go-to book, like this one for me, that I want to get my hands on when I need it. Next, make a plan for your future books. When you're purchasing a book, especially if this is a problem for you, make sure that you buy books that you know you're going to use. So for me, about 5 years ago, I made a rule that if I'm buying a quilt book, if I'm actually investing in it, it needs to serve me in some way. So for example, it either needs to teach me something, maybe a new tip, a new trick, or a new technique, or it needs to give me some information about fabrics or quilts, or provide a really cool pattern that I want to make. And I kind of stick to that rule. I tend to not impulse buy books often, and I really do think about it before I purchase a book. And lastly, for your fun task, take a stack of a couple books that you haven't looked at in a while and just browse through them. They're fun to look at, and it's something that you can learn from and maybe even choose to make a project going forward. And that could be also part of your fun task, is planning that project. So if you found a quilt that's really inspiring to you in one of your books, pull the fabrics, start to think about what you're going to do to make that quilt happen. As always, thank you so much for joining me with this organization challenge. I hope you're inspired this month like I am hoping to be, and I hope you make lots of quilts and take some time to quilt this week. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon.